Mom, what is your greatest fear?
In life?
Yes.
Ooh, boy.
Deep questions for one so tiny.
I would say, you know, as you get older, your fears change. Oh boy. Originally, maybe when I was your age, I feared birds because a friend of my sister's got a bird stuck in her hair once. And her name was Shannon. And it was terrifying for her. So I was scared that a bird was going to fly into a shirt of mine or my hair, or a bat flying into my face. And now, I don't know, somebody else answer.
I am afraid of spiders. I always have been, and I always will be. And then, I guess on a deeper level, I'm always kind of scared that something's going to happen to a loved one.
Well, it's taking that down. Put me down. It's true. No.
He was going to say something easy like worms. I don't like worms.
How old are you?
I'm 7.
7.
With the weight of the world on your shoulders.
When I was your age, I was afraid of the basement in our house. And my mother, for some reason, was always sending me downstairs to get like stuff out of the cold storage for dinner. Sasha! And I would turn on every single light on the way down and like incrementally inch towards it. Finally, and the second I got the thing she wanted, I would run up those stairs so fast.
Did she ever just stand at the top and go, boo?
I'm over it now, for the most part. I'm pretty good with basements now, but that was pretty scary.
How about you? What are you scared of?
I don't really remember what I'm scared of.
That's because you're brave. Something that I've never been. Thank you.
This gentleman over here.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for existing and doing what you do. I was going to ask about Jacqueline, actually. You know, she had a very sort of uncommon path to stardom, and this is hot. Were you guys a part of that at all? You know, like, were you brought in and consulted on that, or it's kind of an obscure question, but just reading up on her sort of trajectory to being a part of the show, it's pretty unique. So I just wanted to see if you guys have any insight on that, or if you were part of that at all, or if that was all execs.
Yeah, so we knew that they were going to create this new character, and there was tell on the set. There was a lot of scuttlebutt going about as to who it was going to be. I know that they were doing a big search, casting a very wide net for this character, and I think at one point there was maybe going to be a spin-off with this character. And then, not because of Jacqueline, just because of, you know, TV world, it didn't happen, but our producer's daughter went to school in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Michigan, nearby, starts with an M. And there was, I believe, he was teaching or doing a course in Ann Arbor, visiting his daughter, and he met this actress there, who was Jacqueline Taboni, who became Trouble. And we heard that she was selected right out of college. We're like, well, that's not how it works for most actors. Never been unemployed a day of her life. And she test read with me. It was more to see if she could take direction like very quickly, because you move at such a quick pace on TV, different from theater. But I mean, she killed it from the start. She's been such a wonderful energy to have on set, because we're all so old and curmudgeonly and creaky. And she's like, hey, what are we doing? And I don't know, what do you guys think?
No, I was just going to say the same thing about having that, you know, because she's way younger than the rest of us, and she's always like really excited to be there, and I think she's been a really, really wonderful addition to the show, and you know, Eve and Trouble do a ton together now, so I've gotten to work with her a lot this season, and she's really fun to work with, and she's fun to tease, and vice versa.
Quite teasable.
Yeah.
Speaking of a lot younger than you, and I see the tiny BB-8 baby over here, which makes me think of this. What does it look like having, you know, I know, isn't it adorable? That's all right. Yeah, dress them up now, because once they get to be 8, they don't pay attention to you anymore. I have an 8-year-old, he won't wear anything I tell him to wear. So what's it like having a baby? Like, you're trying to move into like family life now, and you have a baby on set.
Yeah, we have one baby. We had a baby before, and she's no longer a baby.
They're twins. They're twins.
Well, no, we have, when you work with one baby, you work with several babies, because infants aren't allowed to work an 8-hour workday. What is this? So they can work 15 minutes at a time. So you get 2 sets of twins. Go twins.
We need it, gosh, we need it.
Baby. Baseball. I'll tell her about it later. Also twins.
Oh, they're right there.
Correct. So they're adorable and they're terrible to work with because they cry, and then you can't get the shot, and then you have to cut our day. But they're adorable and so they're the only things that are stinkier than me on set. So, what do you think, Sasha?
Yes, the babies. I remember one pooped on me.
That's how they show love.
Yeah.
Well, it's good luck in
Good
many
luck being a
cultures.
lot, but no, they're terrifying at the same time when you're working with them because you just want everything to just not disturb it in any way.
Totally.
Because it's running the show the second it arrives.
Oh, we are scared of if they go into a tantrum, they like floor the show. So they get more respect than anybody else on the entire show.
All right, over here. Yeah.
This question is for Sasha. In the first show, your character was evil, and then he was being good, and now he's back to evil. Was he ever truly, according to the storyline, good, or was he just doing it to defeat his brother?
I don't really see him as evil or good. He's self-serving, for sure. And he's, he's going to make sure he survives, whatever the situation may be. But I think, he's definitely kind of taking a turn again, because I think he sees, or he at least is interpreting that the Black Claw is the winning side, and that's pretty much the only way he's going to survive this thing. So I don't think he's really changed so much. I think just like when he was more agreeable with the rest of the gang was because at that time the Grimm and the rest of the gang were of service to him, and maybe right now they're not as much. So that's how he justifies it. Or that's how I justify it.
Okay, your turn.
Would you like better, cats or dogs, and why?
I was hoping someone would ask this. I have a quick answer for you, and nothing against cats, but I'm so allergic to cats. So I'm a dogman. I love a dog.
What kind of dog?
French bulldogs. What other kind?
Any dog in particular?
Maybe Henry, her French bulldog. Our French bulldog.
I love them both, but like David said, we can't have a cat because he's allergic, but any opportunity I have to basically get my hands on any kind of a furry, fuzzy creature, David included, I take.
I'm Italian. You haven't seen me shirtless, but it is a nightmare.
What if we got you one of those cats that doesn't shed, that has hair instead of fur? Would that work?
I'd have to,
That's me, basically.
What about you, brother?
3 little things over here. That's about it.
We're
Still waiting for it to
We can name them in.
It makes it easier when you go to the beach.
Sure.
Sash, cats or dogs?
Oh, dogs for me, please. What about you? Cats or dogs? All right.
Do you like cats or dogs?
Get it.
It's too hard-hitting. We'll move on.
I've been a fan since the beginning. I got to see an early premiere of the show. So,
Thank you. Wow.
and I immediately watched it the next day when it premiered with my husband, and now he's hooked on it.
Thank you.
And my question is, what is the most intense situation that you have encountered on the show? Like, what hit you the hardest?
Yeah, 'cause there's a lot going on the show. Yeah.
I mean, from like script, from perspective of the script, or personally, or
Personally, like, what event has hit you the hardest that you've had to solve on the shows?
I mean, for me, it would definitely be the finale episode of season 4, because I knew it was the last time I was going to be able to play Juliet, and it was also emotionally tough, you know, on-screen, off-screen love with him. It was a physically really tough scene because he was choking me. And I said, go there, and I regretted it the next day. Or actually for about 2 weeks.
I got like whiplash.
I actually got whiplash from
I felt
that
so
choking
badly.
scene. But it was my fault. I was like, no, do it. But when you're on set and you're doing stunts or whatever, your adrenaline's just running and you're like, I can handle it. And then like the next day you're like, wait, I can't handle it.
And Bitsie, I feel bad now that I know that you were hurt in real life, because when that happened, I'm like, yes, because
She did evil.
we're like,
I had
Juliet.
Yeah, so that was emotionally, and she walks into the scene saying, very emotional, and she's like, I did not know they were gonna do that to your mother. I didn't know. I mean, obviously she had a hand in it, but she didn't know they were gonna go that far. So it starts off on this sort of like repentant note, and then it goes to like, he tries to kill her, and then she tries to kill him, and then trouble comes. I mean, that was, but mostly it was like saying goodbye to Juliet. That was a big scene for me.
There were a few. One was actually the scene we did together, and was that season 2? Were we infatuated together?
I think, yeah, it was the love triangle.
I got so excited.
Oh boy. Because that was just such a departure from the show that we knew, and it was like really odd, and we weren't sure how it was going to work. If it was going to work, and it worked, but it was challenging. It was challenging. And then I think when Renard had a baby was kind of, you know, a strange transition, because I don't know him as a dad, and this whole other paternal, softer side had to kind of be there, but at the same time he's Renard. So it's like finding that new sort of position and relationship. That was a little challenging.
My mom's head in a box. I'm finding my mom's head in a box. That was hard, and it was hard technically too, because you're trying to be very emotional. It's not easy to hold on to that emotion all day, and like kind of, the scene's coming, and it's like 10 hours away, and you're like, oh, can I get there? And then, of course, you do get there, but like, you were a half millimeter off where you were, there was a tight shot, so that was emotionally jarring. That was the clearly most difficult scene for me, I think.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
As a mom, I hope that my son would be very jarred if he found my head.
I didn't want to tell my actual mom that was happening in the show. For some reason, I'm like, oh, I can't, because she's
Happy Mother's Day!
I know. Gift wrap.
I just want to, like a little fun sort of behind the scenes fact. A lot of the time when there's fight scenes, they make objects, a lot of the objects that are broken are made out of sugar. So they're very delicate. And then that leads me into the big sort of, big scene with Sasha where we're like making out and throwing each other around. I was supposed to rip his shirt off, and I was like, I can't rip his shirt off. Well, yes, I can.
In the moment, yes, you can.
Because
when it's Sasha Roiz. She found a way.
They sew the buttons on with like a thread, so that it's actually easy to rip, and the buttons will also visually just go flying everywhere. So there were just buttons everywhere. Yeah.
I have that scene.
So ladies, practice your seamstress skills.
It's a funny business we're in.
Yeah.
Do you guys like to play any pranks? And if you do, what's been the best ones?
I'm the child on the set, definitely.
You are.
I am. It's so bad. They're not. I do a lot of. They couldn't even be called pranks because those have thought behind them. This is just like, oh, I have a Evian water bottle spray. I'll just pretend to sneeze on any poor crew member or returner, and I did it into her mouth, and she freaked out.
Raw bacon in my shoes.
Put some raw bacon in her shoes. A lot of lotions. I put those on doorknobs when people are in a scene. A lot of things like that. I'll hide from our production assistants and scare them. But yeah, it's pathetic. It sounds so bad. I'm too old for this.
Because David has a reputation for being a little bit of a prankster on set, we had, who was it, Brian Finney? Somebody went into his trailer one day when he was on set and plastered it with One Direction photos. I mean, not an inch was left without a One Direction person on the photo. And then the other thing he's a little sassy about is these hand warmers that they give us in the winter. And David does not like hand warmers. I know, I've gone skiing with him and he does not want the hand warmers. So Wardrobe's like, do you want these hand warmers? And he's like, no.
I said never again.
No, never again. And then eventually, towards the end of the season, they went in there and probably got like 150 hand
there were
warmers.
500 hand warmers just all
All
over
over his trailer.
everything. So I just was like, what's happening? Yeah. All done with love, I hope.
My favorite payback that I did to him, I drive an Audi, and he got an Audi, and the keys look exactly the same. This was like, what, 2 years ago? And it was the same day he put bacon in my shoes. So I thought, well, I need to do something to him, and he has this new car, he's not, still kind of getting used to it, and so I wrapped early, basically didn't leave. I took my car key, put it in the center console of his so that he could look through the window and see it, and then took his car key and ran away so that his car wouldn't open. And then I was crouched down behind the wardrobe truck and filmed the whole thing. And he walks out, and it was actually really funny, because like the transpo...
I'm all proud of my new car.
He's like really proud of it. And so he's got like kind of swaggering out of his trailer, and all the transpo guys are like, whoa, this new car is super cool, and he's like, I know. And then he's like looking in the window, and then my favorite quote from the video was, they told me it was supposed to open if the key was here. So this goes on for like at least a couple minutes.
Several hours later.
Payback's
Payback's a poo.
All right, over here, please.
So I'm assuming before Nick became a Grimm, he solved real crimes in Portland. Right?
Yeah, one would assume.
I'm assuming he solved real crimes in Portland.
Possibly, and hopefully without killing everybody he investigates like he does now.
And he became a Grimm, and it seems like all the crimes are Vesson related. Is there ever like a script that you read, or you're like, you know what? I wish this episode actually just had like a real murder, or a robbery, or just something not Grimm related. Like, have you ever gone through that? Or?
We've talked about that a lot on set, actually, and we've talked about it with the writers. But it's something that they just, I don't know, like the brand of our show.
I believe that show's called CSI.
They won't do it. Maybe next season, but it's definitely something we've talked about. Like Hornsby and I, Sasha and I will be sitting there in the precinct, like, can't we just do one without, when it doesn't morph?
Could it just be a
guy?
serial killer?
And that's the surprise. Anyhow, very good question.
I think that's a great question, though. I think that one of the things that I like about Grimm is that it's one of my favorite TV shows to just yell at the TV over. Because there are a lot of those moments where you're just like, well, of course you should be upset that you got scratched. Why wouldn't you be upset that you got scratched? There's those moments all the time.
Completely.
So it sounds like, sometimes it seems like even the characters aren't aware of how Grimm-related their world is sometimes.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a moment in like season 4 where I'm like, do I have to be surprised when they morph again? Can I kind of know it's gonna happen.
Like, I remember sitting there going like, why does he think that this is gonna be happily ever after this time? It never is.
You have to think
happy?
it for the stakes.
All right.
Hi, my dad's a big fan of the show, and he asked me to ask you. Now, if you can't answer this question, that's okay, but how does the show end?
But you want to say, wait.
Hopefully the show never ends.
I need to understand. Your father, like, looking ahead, how does the show end? Or he's too lazy to watch and he's asking you? How did it end?
No, looking ahead.
Like looking ahead?
Yeah.
How will it end? I will say that categorically cannot be answered. I don't think. Well, maybe we can give a couple spoilers. Hey, look at us. Maybe we could give a couple spoilers. I don't know.
I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen next season.
Do you know what's going to be fun about next season? We don't know if it's going to be our last season. We certainly hope not, but it might be. A lot of shows end after 6 years. And in a way, though we never want to stop working, it would be fun to know, for our writers' sake and for the story's sake, like how to write to an ending. So if next season is indeed our last, it will be the first time they've been able to write to an actual ending and not just a question mark. And I think it'll be, oh gosh, those writers can be dark. So, I don't know. Murder-suicide? I don't know.
We all
Something very dark.
We all
I know
open
these people.
we open up like a B&B, like in Newburgh. You know what I mean? It's like Faulty Towers-ish.
Eve and Adeline get married.
Yeah.
There you go.
Something like that.
So I don't know. I guess you can send that non-news to your dad. I apologize. We don't know.
Thank you for that. Season 5, I think, is the biggest body count we've ever had. Easily.
Oh my gosh.
Easily. I mean, everywhere. Just bodies. Like,
Someone we all love dies.
Ooh.
That is true.
You heard it here first. That's
Wow.
okay.
Take that, Minneapolis.
No, there were so many bodies. At one point, I remember doing a scene, and I had to just constantly stare at the ground to not step on people because they were everywhere. That's just.
So many stuntmen were hired to die. It was. But thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
And we want to say thank you guys to you as well. So give it up, please. Sasha, Bitsie,